So he tweeted that out. I think that this, again, I want to check you guys. I hate that, but I think that mainly just because I hate him.
No.
I know that they'll use it in ads and everything, but he appeared to be doing what he's supposed to do.
No, there was nothing wrong with what he did. And in fact, the politicians on the left that he criticized in Ohio agreed that there was nothing wrong with what he did. We'll get to that in a second. But making a video, campaign style video out of it, and then like bragging about you, again, while you're supposed to be visiting people who suffered from yet another massacre on your watch, let's pause to note that you said during your acceptance speech that you alone could protect us, and you have been a miserable failure at that. I mean, an absolute train wreck of a failure. He hasn't protected us at all, and no one could make the argument that he has. So you can go into your alternative fact world, but the mass shootings have increased substantially and partly fueled by his own white supremacy. Anyway, so he goes and does a campaign style video. Is it horrible, obnoxious? Of course it is. Then he said, he told reporters that his opponents were politicizing the recent mass shootings and quote, he would like to stay out of the political fray. Number one, if you'd like to stay out of the political fray, you shouldn't do, in essence, a campaign video at the hospital. That's not the way you stay out of the political fray. Number two, he then said, then I saw failed presidential candidate Sherrod Brown at 0%, and went on to go insult him and Mayor Whaley. Sherrod Brown never ran for president. He'd be polling at 0% because he's not running. Okay, but the guy, of course, is a moron, doesn't check for 1 second. God damn it, just Google it. Just Google for 1 second, it doesn't take that long. Or have any of your assistants, you have 1,000 staffers at the White House, right? No, who's Sherrod Brown? You're polling at 0%, running for president and mayor and dog catcher. None of those things are true. He was thinking about running for president, but never actually ran for president. There are no polls of Sherrod Brown. Anyway, he attacks him over and over. Scavino, who's the part of the communications team for Trump, says that Trump was received like, quote, like a rock star at the hospital. Yeah, again, that's the thing you would do. If you were a decent human being, you would go to a hospital where a massacre happened and brag about how you're a rock star. And then do a campaign style video. Okay, I got more on what Brown and Whaley actually said, but I want to let you read.
Well, I just would say that Donald Trump is a photo op president. So in a sense, to Johnny's point, when he shows up at the hospital to console victims and to meet with staff that were attending to those victims, he's doing really what he does best, and by that I mean really the only thing he can do well, which is to shake hands, smile, pose for pictures. The minute he has to speak, the minute he has to comment publicly, that's when you're going to get the reality, which is a guy who's in essence ignorant and has no interest in educating himself, and who will also really let the degree to which he's heinous to the core show. And so had he just taken the pictures and greeted, that's what he should be doing. He is a photo op president, but the minute he has to weigh in and articulate any fact at all or any thought at all, it reflects really who he is.
So I want to make a quick prediction that I really hope that this is not right, but I saw him go to Dayton and insult their politicians, which you could never do as president, but he did it right after a terror attack. And then he went to El Paso and he insulted their politicians, which again, you could never do. We remember in Puerto Rico, he got into a feud. They're reeling from a hurricane. He gets into a feud with their politicians. He had a mini feud with the widow of a soldier who had died because his call to her was so horrible that she was angry about it. Those people who didn't see him when he went to the El Paso hospital, one of them might go on the news next week once they've actually recovered and they're out of the hospital and talk about why they didn't want Trump to go. He's gonna attack them.
Oh, no.
You don't think that he's gonna attack a victim of a terror attack?
Great call. Right. And to Mark's point about a photo op, you know that they said they didn't want the reporters there because they didn't want to turn the hospital visit into a photo op. And then they made a campaign video out of it. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. But finally, I want to get to Scavino and Trump both attacked Brown and Whaley, the two Democratic senator and Democratic mayor in Dayton, or as he thinks, Toledo. He said, oh, they were terrible, they were vicious to the president. So I'm going to quote Sherrod Brown, the senator, first. He was received as well as you can expect by the patients. They are hurting, he was comforting. He and Melania did the right things. It's his job in part to comfort people, and I'm glad he did it. Vicious, I can't believe they ripped into Trump that way. They view that as a political attack, and then they go rip their face off, right? And well, let's go to the mayor, to be fair. She said, I think the victims and the first responders were grateful that the president of the United States came to Dayton. Oh my God, I didn't know you were gonna be that tough on Trump. Okay, and so he then viciously attacks them afterwards. No bounds, no bottom of the barrel, no morals. If you're proud to support that guy, okay, but I don't, and they say, oh, there's two Americas and we're too divided. Well, I want to be divided from you. I don't want to hang out with you. You're a terrible person.
And we can be divided politically, but certainly when it comes to decency, you would think that there is some spot that we all occupy together, some expectation of basic decency. Again, not looking for moral leadership from this guy, but some basic decency that you wouldn't think a line he wouldn't cross. We can't seem to even find that.
No, I mean, depending on the poll, anywhere from over 70% to over 90% of Republicans who have now seen him do this 1,000 times, 10,000 times, fully support him. Yeah. They look at that and we think, I mean, all we're looking for is just bare minimum decency. He can't cross the lowest bar in American history, and they look at him and go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, look, no, I don't want to be buddies with you. Look, if you think that that's a nice thing to do, a great thing to do, and you like that guy, and you think that guy's smart, we're not gonna have an interesting conversation anyway.
That's a genius. I have a shirt that says he's a genius. The last thing I want to mention, just because we talked about this earlier this week, in his comments about what could possibly come, what reforms could come from this, he said that there's appetite for background checks, that he's considering it. I don't trust him, but he said that. And we talked about the last time that he said that the NRA tamped that down, and he said, okay, no background checks. So he said it again, and news this morning, the NRA contacted him. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But they warned him again, just like they did last time.
Yeah, that nighttime call from Wayne LaPierre where he says, hey, listen, Sparky, let's not get you off the reservation. Remember, we can't have you out there saying this stuff. Even though we know in Washington, it doesn't matter what the president wants. Yeah. I mean, he could, that's why in a sense, it's immaterial what Trump says. He can say whatever he wants about background checks. They're not gonna move on congressionally on it.
Yeah, look, I'm not like the Democratic politicians. They're all like flowers and roses and being nice, and he rips their face off anyway. I'll tell you what Donald Trump is. He's a coward and he's corrupt. So when the NRA calls, he's, oh, I'm sorry, what happened, tough guy? I thought you were gonna do the background checks. That's what you said last time. And then you cowered away because you're a coward. Commander Bone Spurs, have you run from a battle recently? Because you've run from every battle in your life. And then he's cravenly corrupt. So he's like, oh no, I'm gonna keep the NRA in check, not like these other politicians. He said after Parkland, then the NRA called and said, hey, remember, idiot, we give you money. He's like, oh, okay, sir, absolutely, sir. Where's the check, sir? Right? Same thing's gonna happen. Total, I mean, you voted against the swamp. He loves the swamp. He's lived in the swamp his whole goddamn life. If you can't see that, you're an idiot. So sorry, I'm not gonna be like the other Democrats and like, oh, are you okay? Let's do kumbaya. No, if you like Trump, you're stupid and craven as well. Sorry, there you have it. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.